Around the Ozarks is now on your FM radio. Listen to Around the Ozarks mornings with Grace Gooley as I spotlight local people, stories, and podcasts, all while playing the country legends of the 90s and the hit makers of the 2000s. It's on the Ozarks' best country, 105.1 The Bull. It's time for Around the Ozarks Sports Scene, brought to you by Colton's Steakhouse, Thompson Sales, and Deadeye Gun and Pawn in Sparta. Here's your host, Scott Purrier.
Welcome into another edition of Around the Ozarks Sports Scene. I am Scott Purrier. As always, a big thank you to you for tuning in this week. We're going to talk some Bears baseball. Great time to do that with the announcement the Bears headed back to an NCAA Regional for the first time since 2022. And who else better to talk about Bears baseball than the guy who was the head of the program for 42 years, now is in his second year of doing color commentary on the Bears games with Corey Riggs on the Varsity app is awesome. I like just going to listen to other games on there as well, too. But it's been great listening to those two guys. And, of course, Keith also works part-time raising money for baseball and coordinating special events. Welcome in, Coach Keith Guttin. Keith, good evening.
Good to be with you, Scott.
Well, welcome home after your 12-day stay in beautiful Kennesaw, Georgia. I asked if you were out of trouble with Mama Bear, and you're headed back out tomorrow, so the answer's probably not yet.
Well, we went to Bambino's for dinner. That was temporary relief.
Yeah, there you go. You bought some time, didn't you? Bought another weekend.
Bought some meatballs, and that was a good thing.
Yeah, but just hold the cheese off, right?
No cheese.
No cheese, yeah. Well, I wanted to talk about several things with you. Always great to catch up each year. And you and I go back to the mid-'80s when you scared the heck out of me. I thought you were probably the most intimidating presence. You or Bob Price. I couldn't decide which one, the former Glendale coach. About the same size, both of you, but had a presence. And we've grown to be great friends over 40 years. And, of course, you spent 42 years there. And kind of talk about how you're enjoying this right now. And you haven't lost a game in 2 years.
Well, it gives me an opportunity, Scott, to be close to the game of baseball, and it gives me an opportunity to be close to the program. And I'm available if they need me for any capacity. Our fundraising events are primarily over for the school year, certainly not the calendar year. Have really enjoyed the radio color bit with Corey Riggs. I think we have a good partnership there, and I go to games. I go to most road games, but if I don't want to go to Liberty or Lynchburg, Virginia, or Delaware, I don't go. So I keep some weekends free for family during the season, but I've really enjoyed it.
If you knew it was this much fun, do you think you might have done this sooner, or was the timing just right after 42 seasons?
Well, I would have done it before the last season, which stunk. So that's for sure. But no, I think it certainly was time for me. I know who I wanted to support for the position, and it's obvious he's done a wonderful job.
Does Joey ever, you said you're available for whatever help they need. Does Joey still bounce anything off of you baseball-wise?
Yes, but not, roster-wise, personnel-wise, practice-wise, game-wise, just things like situations that come up with, umpires or league matters or weather or fundraising, those type things. I don't volunteer anything unless I'm asked, and happy to answer if he asks me.
What did you see in him as a player and then as an assistant coach and then your associate head coach at the end that made you feel like he'd be as successful as he's been here in these first 2 years?
Well, leadership as a player, that's certainly played a position. You need leadership. That shortstop. He was very good defensively. He had respect of other players. One guy that would come to me and not afraid to voice his opinion in matters regarding the team. And then when he came back as an assistant coach, it was very clear that he had utilized his time in the Cardinal organization wisely, learned a great deal. I've got allergies bothering me, so bear with me here.
Sure. And now I just
excuse me.
There we go. Hey, at least you turn the camera away to sneeze. I appreciate that.
So I would suggest that he's as good as anybody I've been around in the game in terms of player development, his ability to recruit, establish relationships, extremely organized, and loves the game.
What is it about his coaching style in regards to hitting that makes him so successful? And he's a head coach now, but who's to say that somebody doesn't try to, at the Power Four level, throw a ton of money at him and try to bring him in as a hitting coach? That's happened at Missouri State before with other assistants, but not with the head coach. Why is he so good as a hitting coach?
Well, he has clear directions. He's very knowledgeable, has a philosophy that explains well, doesn't overcoach it mechanically. He tries to simplify, which I think the best teachers do. And then it begins to be self-fulfilling. Older guys buy in, and then younger guys buy in. And now you've got a place where I think hitters want to go to be coached.
Well, of course, Keith Guttin in his career, 42 years in just about every Hall of Fame imaginable, won 1,396 games, 21 conference titles, went to 12 NCAA regionals, 3 NCAA super regionals, and of course the 2003 World Series. All those numbers, though, pale in comparison to one bobblehead, the Keith Guttin bobblehead, which I keep on my desk here. And it's kind of like the WWJD, it's WWGD. What would G do? So I turned to it and for advice. But it also is possibly the only life-size replica bobblehead ever made, is it not?
Well, I was with a guy this past weekend in Atlanta that already has 2 bobbleheads. A left-handed hitter named Drake Baldwin,
Yeah.
who came out the day, but we came a day after the team. He was with the team on that first day down there when they lifted weights. And then he came back because we got to see him last week ago, Sunday, play, which was really cool at Truist Park. And then he went on the injury list shortly after with a strained oblique. And he came out the hotel last Thursday, spent an hour and a half with us, gave myself and Joey autographed game Braves jersey with a gold tag for Rookie of the Year, and
Wow.
gave us bobblehead dolls of him. And just he hasn't changed a bit. Same humble, great teammate, great person that he's been.
Now, are those jerseys going in personal collection or a Bears auction
Not a Bears auction. No, Joey and I laughed about that today, and it's going to be framed, matted, and put in my basement.
There you go. How many of your bobbleheads are in your house?
I don't see any. My wife has one, and I'm not a big bobblehead person.
Well, I only have 2 total. I've got you and Ned Reynolds here in my office at home.
Well, it's a good thing I'm younger than him, at least.
Yeah, you're in good company there. But well, you're going to have fun again doing radio with Corey because you guys don't have a very long trip this weekend. Headed up to Lawrence, Kansas. The Bears are the number 3 seed in the KU Regional. Kansas number 1, Arkansas Razorbacks number 2, Bears 3, and Northeastern the 4 seed there. It all starts on Friday. First game at noon, I believe, is KU and Northeastern, then the Bears and the Razorbacks, and meeting number 3 this year in a 5:00 start at Hoagland Park. Tell me what you played them forever. Tell me what you know about that ballpark. I see that it's normally 2,500 seats, but they brought in enough bleachers to make it around 4,000 this weekend. What kind of atmosphere will that be like? Because Hog Nation's going to make the trip up there. Not a very far drive. KU will have excited fans, and then Bears fans will make the trip up as well.
Well, we laughed and joked on the trip because we had plenty of time to do it. Corey and Ben Adams and myself about first we thought, you know what, we're going to go home after 12 days. We're going to get there Sunday night. And Wednesday, we're going to be flying back to Atlanta and be in Georgia Tech's regional after 12 days here. But I think personally, this was a place I really wanted to see us go. 3.5 hours away. Family, friends, Bear fans, Kansas City alums could get there. It's just a lot easier on the team than getting in the airport and moving that amount of people. They're less tired. Some of our younger guys have played. I think our last game with them was probably 23, so not many guys left from there. All turf field. And KU has really turned their program around the last few years under Dan Fitzgerald, who was a long-time Dallas Baptist assistant.
Okay.
So I've known him for many years. He was a key recruiter there. Went to LSU for 1 year as a recruiting coordinator, and he's really brought the program. They won the regular season in Big 12, first time ever. Won the tournament, and it's rare to win both. So I'm excited to kind of look at his team. The first game at noon. Arkansas, obviously everybody knows their history, tradition, and success. We've already seen them twice this year. So, there's some familiarity, which can be good, but there's no real advantage because both teams know each other.
I assume it's pronounced Hoagland Park, although it's spelled Hoagland. That means Arkansas fans are going to think it's their place. But is it a hitter's park, a pitcher's park, kind of a neutral? What would you say?
I think when we're up there on warm days, it's pretty much a hitter's park. It's more of a southwest wind, which would blow out to left field. But Joey, as a young coach, when he hasn't been to a ballpark, usually texts me and says, which way is it going out? And so he texted me this morning and said it's supposed to be east winds all 3 days. Where is it? I said it's in from left toward the first base line. I don't think he liked that, but it's a fair park in terms of size and turf. And we're not seeing midweek pitchers now,
Yeah.
and Arkansas's 1 and 2 are really good.
And I know there one in particular, Hunter Dietz. It seems like Gabe Gackles kind of been hit or miss, but he's been more hit here at the end of the season and stuff. But what do you think DVH's reaction was to this draw, and what was your reaction?
Well, I thought they would host, and honestly, I thought they deserved to host. So there really wasn't much thought about facing them. Obviously, at worst, they were going to be a 2 seed. There were a lot of projections that had Missouri State as a 2 seed. I wasn't sold on that with all the metrics involved. I thought there were more Power 4 teams that would probably be 2s based on their metrics. We have played them, it seems like, a lot in the postseason, starting in 99 and then 15 and 17. So there's a history, and it's been a good rivalry in postseason.
Two really good meetings this year. I know the final score in the second was 12-4, but I think it was a 4-4 or 6-4 game there for quite a while, and then the Hogs broke it open. It appeared in that meeting that the Bears kind of said, hey, we got to save some pitching for this weekend. Threw some guys maybe that weren't typically weekend guys and just took the L. I know Joey doesn't ever give anything up, but it was not a 12-4 game, right?
I think it was 4-4, maybe even in the 7th or 8th, Scott.
Yeah.
So it was a good ball game. And I mean, both teams know how to pitch each other. Both teams know how to attack the other side's pitching. There's a guy with long blonde hair on that team that we all love, but won't the day we play him. But it's all good.
And then the 15-14 matchup on March 31st. In your years of, Bears baseball, it's got to rank among the most exciting games, win or lose, the way it turned out, right?
I said it on the air, and I said it to people afterward. That's the best college baseball game I've probably ever seen in person. You had 8 home runs, 4 on each side, 7 lead changes, 2-run homer in the 9th to tie, and a walk-off in the 10. And the crowd was electric. Our students really showed that night. It was really just a cool evening for anybody affiliated with Missouri State baseball.
So do you fully expect the Bears will see Dietz on Friday? Is that kind of, you don't tinker with these things when you get to a regional?
It's interesting because, and Dave obviously has as much experience as anybody coaching in postseason. Some schools / coaches will hold their number one for what they feel like would be the number 1 seed, which would be Kansas. I'm not suggesting he's doing that. I have zero knowledge of that, but it is done some places. But you risk that and the aftermath if somehow you get beat. But you're going to win the first game, but you're going with a strategy to win the tournament.
where are these Bears in your mind coming off the Conference USA tournament? They reached the semifinals. Rain just kind of messed with the whole schedule. I imagine it's hard for teams to get in a rhythm with the way it kept, getting pushed back, the starts pushed back, delays, and all that. But your thoughts on this Bears, because you always want to be playing your best baseball at the right time at the end of the season. Where is this team right now?
So I think what's transpired, Scott, the last couple of weeks, started with New Mexico State, is the bullpen really started performing better, and specifically Max Knight, who has the best stuff on the team. Actually, he got squared away against New Mexico State, and he pitched really well the first Kennesaw game in the conference tournament. Came in the second time, was okay. Curry Sutherland was really, really good in the tournament. Tyler Charlton has picked up his performance the last couple of weeks. So something that was problematic for a few weeks there while they weren't playing so well, I think has been cleaned up. Now, from a hitting side, that's their strength, but you're also going against a lot of power. They're playing well. The defense has been good all year, and this is a good time. I think, being rested Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Well, I played a little bit Sunday, but basically 5-6 days of rest, I think, is probably the best thing for them to get ready for this.
Top to bottom, another very good offensive Joey Hawkins team. One of the guys that you've been familiar with for a long time, you recruited him, Curry Sutherland. What do you see was responsible for his big jump this year in the numbers across the board?
Well, I think the light kind of went on, and it went on last summer. Actually, went to Coastal Plains, which is a very reputable wooden bat league. Hit 8 home runs in probably a short sample size. Power started to come together, and then this fall he was as good a hitter as we had, particularly with power. I think he's got 16 home runs right now. Just continue maturity, pitch selection, approach. He always was big and had strength and a good swing, but he's kind of put it all together this spring.
Year two for you behind a microphone now, officially a media member, get to partake in the hospitality rooms and
That's the key right there.
yeah, exactly. You don't get rained on. It's air conditioning and a roof over you and all that. But talk about the aspect that, Keith Guttin's always been a no nonsense, tell you what he thinks kind of guy. In year two, how have you adjusted? Because you're around these guys a lot, and it's okay to be rah-rah because you're on the Bears network. You're supposed to be a little bit, but you're also a guy that will tell it like he sees it. Have you had to balance that a little bit with what you're thinking and what you say?
A little bit. I still like to say what I see, and because obviously listeners, it's not TV, they're not seeing it, but I think when the other team makes a mistake, you're certainly going to point it out. When the Bears make a mistake, I'm going to point it out, but I try not to point out necessarily the individual twice. In other words, we should have had that ball, or we shouldn't have made that throw, that kind of thing. And, I kind of try to spare them some embarrassment, but you got to let the listeners know. Corey does the play-by-play. He describes it, then I'll go back over it. So he's going to say the name of a person. I might not go back and say that name again, but maybe explain how the play could have been handled better.
Now, are you prepared to handle play-by-play
No,
when Corey falls out the window, getting overly
absolutely
excited?
not. Have no interest. Now, I wouldn't mind interviewing you, something like that on the field, but no, he does. He does. I think he's really good in play-by-play, prepares well, and I think we work well together.
We live in an age that a lot of coaches say, I don't want any part of it with the NIL, with the transfer portal. You don't miss those things, do you?
No, and it was kind of more the beginning of it for me, and I did not retire because of those things. It was time for me to move on and let Joey be the head coach, but he's so much more equipped to deal with those kinds of things. But they're here to stay. I don't see them changing. What I would like to see is, maybe one free transfer per athlete, not 4 to 5.
what is it doing to the game? I mean, it seems to me like in baseball, maybe because it's just not publicized as much, but maybe not as big of the impact and effect as you're seeing in football and men's basketball. Would you agree?
There's a lot of people. I mean, so it's going to open for Division 1 next Monday. So it's
Mhm.
been open for Division 2 and grad transfers. And I talked to Kyle Cliff, who's kind of a assistant recruiting coordinator, pitching analyst. He handles the portal for Joey. There's 2,000 people now in Division 1 undergraduates haven't even started the portal. So it's a constant who's coming, who's going. I think they've done a good job here in evaluating talent and to whatever degree you can, character. If you look at some of the key contributors this year, they're portal guys. And, people say, well, it's always new guys. You can't build chemistry. They've built chemistry, and because they brought in the right type of people, and done a good job cultivating their chemistry here.
And done their homework on those guys too,
As
right?
much as you can.
Yeah, yeah. What it seems to me like they've done a remarkable job of keeping who they need to keep too, because mid majors seem like to be a hunting ground for the power forwards to come swoop in and get those guys. What's the key to that? I mean, you got to have something to be able to keep them. Number one, right?
Yeah, and I think again, I'm going to give credit to Joey on that because of his culture, because of the way he deals with players. He's honest. He doesn't BS them. Tells them the truth. He tries to utilize everybody on his roster, and through injuries, through rest, through whatever. So I think his relationship with players has helped out a lot. And we go around these other places, and you look for guys that were there last year, and all of a sudden they're not there. They're at Power Fours or bigger schools, but we've been pretty fortunate in that regard.
Can you imagine if they had NIL back from Brian Mahaffey to Bill Miller to Jason Hartz, Pickey, Jake Berger,
How about Ryan Howard?
Ryan Howard? He probably would have been one big year and out at that.
Ryan Howard got offered by an SEC school before NIL and portal.
Wow.
They tried to steal him from us. I never even knew it till about 10 years later.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow. It would have been hard to keep those guys back then with the resources, right?
absolutely. So that was probably good for us.
Is that part of your role now, is to find some of those resources?
Yeah, I think so. Through our special events, through cultivating donors, through relationships, and just from being in the community for now 50 years. And Coach Rowe's still involved as well. He helps with donor relations and events. So we kind of, when I retired, Joey said, I got a lot going. I got to do this my first time. Will you help on the fundraising end? I said, yeah. So that's how it kind of came about. And there's every year I think the private giving and the help we receive is even more important. And we have to buy players. It's a fact.
We've got one of those alums on. Matter of fact, on radio tomorrow with Brad Ziegler joining us. It'll be fun to catch up with Ziggy and get his thoughts on the current state of that level of baseball as well. But this is where the dream starts. I mean, you get hot at the right time. You had a Bears team that did it and wound up in Omaha. Is the potential there for this team to get hot and do it?
It's going to be all about the pitching, Scott. Our numbers, our pitching numbers aren't going to knock you off the charts, but there's some talent there. They've done a good job of utilizing their bullpen and what they have, but they're going to go as far as their pitching takes them.
Very good. Well, Keith, enjoy your trip up there. Take Mama Bear out next week, a couple nights to make up for another absence there. But and keep Corey calm as much as you can. But it should be a fun weekend.
Looking forward to it. Thanks for having me, Scott.
Thank you, Keith. Keith Guttin, the longtime Bears baseball coach, does just a great job on the color commentary. And there's a reason you see former players and former coaches serving as analysts on these games, because they know their stuff. And nobody knows Bears baseball, obviously, than the guy who ran the program for 42 years. So our big thanks to Keith for joining us and giving us a preview of the Bears Regional at KU this weekend. Big thank you as well to our sponsors. First with Thompson Sales. They're located at 1555 East Independence in South Springfield. Thompson Sales has been in the business since 1919. They are your local home for the largest selection of Cadillac, Buick, and GMC cars and trucks. They've got new and used, and they got a tremendous service department to take care of your vehicles from start to finish. Visit the boys at Thompson's. Like we said, I've been going since 1980 when I got to town because they treat you like family. You just keep going back, and it's like you're seeing family members taking care of you and your vehicles. That's the Thompson boys. They've been dealing since 1919. Big thanks as well to Colton Steakhouse of Springfield, located at 2020 East Independence, just down the street from Thompson Sales. You'll have trouble finding a better meal than you can get at Colton's, whether it's lunch or dinner. Those great steaks, their barbecue, their burgers, the hot rolls, the salads. It's all great stuff at Colton's. Stop in and try the Montana burger. If there's a better burger in Springfield, I don't know where it is, but go see owner Thomas Orr and his folks at Colton Steakhouse, 2020 East Independence. And finally, Deadeye Gun in Sparta. Jonathan and his team at 7483 Main Street in Sparta have a tremendous selection of guns, rifles, pistols, ammunition, all the accessories you need for that next hunt or target practice, all at Deadeye Gun in Sparta. Visit deadeyegunsupply.com for more information there. Again, big thanks to Keith Guttin. We'll be seeing how the Bears do this weekend, talk about next week here on Around the Ozark Sports Scene. Until then, we'll see you